see a 1 in the chat? So I just want to know diversities of persons that are joining us tonight quickly before we get started. Okay, so if this is the first time of joining Dari's session like this, can I just see 1, right? So if it's not your first time, you could just, put a 2 in the chat. Okay, likewise, I will want to also know where you are joining us from, right? So your name and where you are joining us from. So I will start first with the introduction. So I am Edidiong Emmanuel. I'm actually joining you from Nigeria. I want to know where you are also joining us from. Okay, so the beautiful part about having a virtual meeting like this is that you see people joining from diverse locations, right? And you're going to be shocked that you are actually on a call with persons, across the world. So I'm just going to be checking my chat. Just quickly drop where you are joining us from, so your name and where you're joining us from, okay, so that we can kickstart. I just want us to have a little chit chat before we get right into it. All right, so please let's keep it coming in. Where are you actually joining us from? Before we kickstart, where are you joining us from? Where are you joining us from? So I'm here to get responses. Okay, Marion joining from France. Okay, fantastic. Welcome on the call, Mary joining us from France. So let's just keep it coming. So you see, we have some other person outside, right? That is person from France. Okay, so I'm in Nigeria and she's in France. So let's see other persons. Okay, Ozichi joining us from Nigeria. All right, so I have somebody also here in Nigeria with me. So let's just keep it coming. All right, okay. BTL joining us from London. Amazing. So you see, we have 3 different locations. All right, so just keep that coming while we dive into what we have for today. So like I said earlier, for today's session, we want to actually look at what business analysts actually do in real time. So what is their role? What do they actually do? Okay, just so that you have a quick overview. So I know very well there are a lot of persons that have heard about a business analyst before. They might not really understand the integrity of the role. They might not really know, or what are they actually doing. Yes, I've been hearing data analysis, business analysis, but who are they, okay, and what do they do? So that is what we are going to be doing for tonight in less than few minutes. Well, but one other thing I want us to respond to on the chat is, if you are a business analyst on the call, like if maybe you've done a training before on business analysis, or you've heard of business analysis somewhere before, right? Just from the top of your head, you understand, okay, this is who a business analyst is. I just want to see, BA on the chat. So if you know you're a business analyst, you've done a training before on business analysis, let me see a BA. Okay, so if you've done a relative, course, maybe project management, you could just write PM, okay, or any other tech career field, you could just include it on the chat, just so I know the calibers of persons that are joining us. Okay, so if you are just joining us, okay, welcome to today's session. We are going to be looking at the typical role of a business analyst. So if you're a BA in the house, can you just type BA? Fantastic. I have a lot of BAs in the house. Okay, so Uche says BA, Marian says BA, VTL says BA. Fantastic. So already I know I have BAs in the house. So some of the terminologies might not be 100% strange, okay, but for persons that do not know, don't worry, we are not going to leave you aside. So we are going to actually break everything down as simple as possible. Okay, so let's just kickstart. So before we go on, it's important that we understand who Amdari is. So you know very well that Amdari is actually the host of this particular session. So it's important to know who is Amdari and what do they actually do, right? So Amdari is actually an innovative platform that is designed to revolutionize how aspiring data professionals build their careers and gain practical experience. So what Amdari is actually looking at in a nutshell is trying to bridge that gap between you having the theoretical knowledge and having the real world experience. So Amdari is here to give you that real world experience that you do not have. Okay, so it's possible that you might have gone through a training over a particular thing, right, a particular tech course, but you now having the experience that is needed. That is where we Amdari now comes in to give you that experience on the platter of gold, right? And then we have projects that are spanning from data analytics to be data science to data engineering, business analysis, which is the core reason why we are here today. Project management, security and operation center slash trade intelligence, that's under cybersecurity, right? Governance, risks and compliance, GRC, technical hacking, and penetration testing, that's pen testing. Okay, so those are three branches of cybersecurity. So we actually, provide you with experiences, real world experiences across these different domains in the tech world, right? So so if you do not know anything about Amdari, so what you should take back from today's session is that Amdari is actually that bridge, okay, the bridge gap between you having your tech, your what's it called now, theoretical knowledge, okay, and then you having that real world experience you are looking for to land the job. Don't worry, in few minutes you're going to deeper into what Amdari does and how we actually perform this magic. Okay, so let's just quickly go on. Okay, so meet our founder, okay, Adeza Suleiman. So Adeza Suleiman is a technical expert with over a decade experience in data analytics and management consulting. As a founder of Tenalytics and co-founder of Amdari, Adeza has helped over 2,850 plus people to with no prior tech background transitioning into tech and landing their first job. Okay, so this is our co-founder of Amdari, right? So based off his profile, you know that he has helped a lot of persons and you cannot be left out, right, in this particular thing. Okay, so quickly, if you check the group chat, you are going to see that we have attendance, dropped in by my colleague. Please ensure that you fill the attendance form just so that you get the resources of today, and also so that you actually get the bonus that is going to be at the end of the session. So please and please and please ensure that you don't drop off and ensure that you fill the attendance form. It is very, very, very important, just so that it helps you to lock that discount at the end of the session. Okay, so that is that for our founder. So let's meet another of our co-founder of Amdari, Efemina Ipro. Efemina has a wealth of experience cutting across several areas within data ecospace, covering data analytics, data science, and data engineering. He's also the co-founder of Tenalytics and Amdari. So through these platforms, he has helped over 2,500 persons transition into tech and land their first jobs with no prior tech background. Okay, so it is based off their experiences that they've actually come up with this particular platform, right? Because they've seen that, oh, there is a gap, there is a bridge between, you having that practical knowledge that you're looking for, right? So they now came up with this amazing platform called Amdari, just so that you are actually helped and you don't go through the same challenges that they went through while they were transitioning into the tech space. Okay, so now this is me, your host for today, Edidiong Emmanuel, right? So I am a seasoned data professional with over 5 years of experience in implementing and deploying data analytics and data science in initiatives for businesses across the world. Okay, so I am actually the growth internship specialist here at Amdari, and I've mentored over 1,000 individuals to transition into tech and secure their first roles in data analytics as well as data science. Okay, so I have expertise spanning from different industries, from the edtech to supply chain to e-commerce, as well as the HR sector. Okay, so that is that about me. Now let's look at a brief intro of what we are going to be doing today. Okay, so the first thing is we're looking at the typical roles of a business analyst, and then I'm going to introduce you to the Amdari work experience, okay, to actually help you out. As I remember, I said Amdari is actually that company that bridges the gap between theoretical knowledge and the real world experience. And then I am going to be giving you the big review at the end of this session. And it's only for persons that are going to stay till the end of it. So sit tight and let us learn together. Okay, so who is actually a business analyst and what do they actually do? This is the big question of today, and we are going to be, unveiling it together in the the most simplest way possible that anybody can understand, okay, and anybody can drive through. All right, so let's just get started. So now, who is a business analyst? Okay, so I would just want you to have this picture, right? So just paint a picture in your brain, just as you're looking at, the screen and the picture that I'm actually showcasing now on my screen. So think of a business analyst like a translator at a family meeting. Okay, so I am going to say, think of a business analyst as this beautiful lady that is in between, okay, in this family portrait, right? So you think of the business analyst as a person in a family gathering that is turning what the father, okay, here, what the father wants into a clear step that the kids can follow. So just as what this lady is doing on my screen, where she's acting as a translator, trying to explain or trying to break down, things that the father actually wants to the kids. Okay, so think of a business analyst like that, right? As a translator, it's in between. It's like a middleman kind of person, right? So at this point, okay, in our illustration, the dad here is the business, right? And then the kids here are like the tech team, right? So think of a business analyst like that middleman between the business owners, okay, the business as well as the tech team. Okay, so I want to believe you understand the picture of who a business analyst is in a plain term, right? So let's not go into the full-blown explanation, or should I say the definition. So in the simplest way possible. So think of a business analyst as, a business analyst actually that translator, right? So the middleman, okay, between the children as well as the father, trying to break down what the father actually wants, what the father expects, okay, to the children in the simplest way possible so that they can understand and follow suit. Okay, just follow me so that you understand. Now, based off this simple illustration, okay, we can now say that a business analyst is that bridge, right? So just as I mentioned earlier, okay, it's in between. So it's a bridge between the business problems and the technical solution. So how did they do this? They analyze the business needs, they design the processes, and they prefer recommendations, or they recommend solutions to that business problem, okay, using different techniques, which we are going to look at briefly. Okay, so another thing you should think of a business analyst is that they are change catalysts. So wherever you see a business analyst, another thing that should come to your mind is that, oh, this is actually a change catalyst. So all BAs in the house, so I want you to just drop in the chat, right? Just say to yourself, I am a change catalyst. All right, so let's just quickly do that on the chat so that I know you are 100% with me. Okay, so just quickly drop a chat. I am a change catalyst. So all BAs in the house. So I know when we did introduction, I saw a lot of persons dropping, I'm a BA, I'm a BA, I'm a BA. So it's now time for you to show that you are a BA, except you do not see yourself as a change catalyst, but every BA or every business analyst is a change catalyst. That is one thing I will want you to go back from this session with. Okay, so now we know who a business analyst is, right? So now what do they actually do? Okay, what do they do? So now let me quickly paint a little business scenario so that you have a better understanding. So I'm just coming from a place of as simple as possible terminologies, okay, so that we understand and then we can take it higher. So one step at a time. Okay, so now imagine you walk into a shop, right? And then you've made your purchase, like you've taken the stuff you want to buy into your cart, and then you walk down to the counter just to make your payment, and then they're telling you, oh, sorry, our machine is down, the machine is slow, you cannot pay now with your card. Do you have cash with you? And then you are like, I am not with any cash, right? I know very well this place, they actually use their card to make payment. And then for no reason or for some reasons, right, there is a delay or there is a slowdown. So, and then you are actually in a haste. So tell me, are you going to stay or are you going to leave? All right, so are you going to stay in that kind of scenario or are you going to leave? So let me just get our responses in the chat. So you walk down to a shop, you've gather whatever you wanted into your cart, and then you've moved to the counter to make payment. And then they are giving you this story of our machine is slow, sorry, you cannot make payment with your card. Or maybe they're bringing up a different story. Maybe you're using a Visa card and then it's not actually working. All right. So at that point, what are you going to do? Are you going to leave? Are you going to stay? Okay. Are you going to stay and sympathize with the company? Right. So are you going to sympathize with them and like, okay, oh, sorry, what can we do now? Okay. And then will you just hang around? Because for me, I will definitely leave, right? Because my time is precious. Okay, so if your shop is not giving me what I want, I can actually scroll down to the next to get what I want. Okay, Adiola says I will leave, right? Leave, exactly my point. Okay, so I will leave if I was in this kind of situation, right? So that is a very big problem. That is like a red flag already on that particular shop. So let's say next time you want to walk into that shop, the first experience you had or that experience of that day is going to stick to your brain. And you're like, oh, what if I go today and then they're telling me, oh, I cannot make payments? So at that point, it's already a big problem for the company because they are going to definitely lose revenue. So everything that you put in your card, you wanted to make purchase, you're going to leave it there and you go. Okay. And then that company is actually losing revenue. Now, that is the business problem. Okay. That is already a problem for the business and they will definitely need to fix it. So for them to fix it, they will definitely run to somebody. And who is that person, right? Who is actually that person? A business analyst. Okay, so just as the scenario I painted earlier, right? Okay, so a small e-commerce store noticed customers leaving their carts full. So now the business analyst is called to address that particular issue, right? So they've noticed that, okay, people are trying to make purchase, right? Okay, maybe so let me use Temo, for instance. Okay, so this new e-commerce store, Temo. Let's say you actually picked up everything you wanted to buy, you put it in your cart, and then you're trying to check out, and you're seeing a lot of delays. The whole thing is rolling and rolling for hours. Okay, the payment platform is just over rolling and rolling. Okay, for hours, and then you cannot make payment. What will you do? Obviously, you're going to zoom up out of there and then go to another e-commerce site. So that is the same scenario we are painting here, right? And now the company has actually contacted their business analyst. Okay, we do not understand what is happening. Okay, so let's say, for instance, they do not know what happened, right? So they've just gone in and then they're seeing that person's cards are just all full. Nobody's making processing payments. What is happening? They stayed for 2 days, 3 days, right? No orders coming in and the rest. So it's alarming, right? And then they now call the business analyst because, okay, this is the problem we are having. You are a change catalyst. Come in and help us. All right. So as a business analyst, what are you going to do first? Now, this is where, what business analyst does comes in here, right? So now, as a business analyst, the first thing they're going to do is first contact these customers. Okay. So for e-commerce site like this, obviously they're going to use mails because you sign it with your email, right? Or they can easily place phone calls, okay, if they have the numbers attached to it. And like, okay, Mr. A and B, okay, let me use somebody on the call. So Mr. Adeola, so we noticed that your cart is full, but you have not actually processed payment. What is the issue? Okay, so is there anything we can do to actually help you out to have a smooth, purchase with us? So whatever Adeola says, okay, the business analyst is going to jot it down. He's going to take note of it because he has to process this information and definitely find a solution to it. Okay, so now, based off what Mr. Deola has actually told the business analyst, right, he has now gone back and then he has done his own research. He has checked that, okay, so where the issue is coming from is because our checkout page is very slow. Hence why these guys are leaving their cart. Okay, so that's why they're abandoning it. They've gotten angry. They've left it because of this particular issue, right? So the business analyst now understands, okay, this is the pain point. Okay, so this is the pain point of what is happening, right? So now the next thing, that this is the problem. The next thing is obviously to profess solutions, is for you to come up with recommendations. So now we know the problem. What do we do? Okay, so now the business analyst is going to suggest a faster platform or payment system for them. Okay, so whatever system they were using before. So let's say they were using Menstack, for instance. I know Menstack does amazingly well doing their payments, right? But I'm just using that as an instance. All right. So let's say Menstack is what they were using previously, right? So the business analyst can now suggest, okay, let's try out another. Let's try out maybe Paystack. Okay, let's try out something else, just so that we can actually handle the issue at hand as soon as possible. Remember, time is money, okay? And they're actually losing revenue as they are delaying the whole thing. Okay, so now after your perfect solution, it does not stop there. As a business analyst, your work is not just to, throw solutions. Okay, this is what I think we should do. You also have to walk through the implementation phase, right? Where they're working hand in hand with the development team to ensure that the payment page is actually fixed for the users to continue their purchase. Okay, so now this is like, I would say, a brief overview, okay, of what a business analyst can actually do in a scenario like this, or in a business problem like this. Okay, so I will come back to my meeting. So if you're still here with me, can I say thumbs up if you actually understand, the illustration we just painted now, and you have a full understanding now in a nutshell, right, of what a business analyst can do, and the steps it takes. So for every problem to be solved, it always starts from a step. It's one step at a time. Okay, so you move first from looking for where the pain point is. So what is actually the root cause? What is happening here? Why are we having XYZ as issues? Okay, so immediately you've gotten that, you document it, right? And then the next thing is for you to prefer solutions. You preferring solutions is not the end of it. You have to ensure that the implementation phase is also smooth. So you are working with the developers to ensure that the work is actually done. You do not leave it halfway. Okay, so you work hand in hand with the developers to ensure that, okay, this is what the business actually needs. This is what our business owners actually need. And then you work with them till that is a success. All right, thank you very much for those reactions. Now let's just go on. So now let me use the professional terms that most of us might know, okay, and then explain further. So the action that the business analyst took, which is speaking to the affected customers, okay, so we call it stakeholder interview or elicitation. Okay, so in this particular kind of thing, the user is also a stakeholder. So I know most persons always feel that, oh, a stakeholder has to be only persons in the business, right? It has to be maybe the CEO, it has to be the head of department, stuff like that. But no, when you're working with, end users, the end user at that point is also a stakeholder, because you will also need to satisfy their own needs. So the user at this point is also a stakeholder. So please always remember that. So let's say the e-commerce business problem we just looked at right now, right? So you are working for an e-commerce site, okay, and then they had that kind of issue, and then you are supposed to come up with your stakeholder metric, because that's one thing that a business analyst should do, right? As important as the CEO at that point, right? Because the revenue of the business is coming from where? The end users. Okay, so at the point where, let's use the business problem we use now, okay, earlier. So let's say the end users cannot make purchase. So there is no money coming in at that point. So the same way the CEO is important is the same way the end user is important. So the end user at this point is the stakeholder. Okay, so you carry out the stakeholder interview and elicitation. That is the proper terminology, right? And so what did we do? You just ask questions. Okay, so as a business analyst, you know very well that your work is to always ask questions. Don't get tired of asking questions. Okay, so in the process of elicitation or stakeholder interview, your work is to ask questions. You keep asking questions, you get what you are looking for. Okay, so you keep asking the why. So what happened? Why did this happen? Okay, so what are you experiencing? Okay, why is this like this? All this is for you to understand what is happening. Okay, so it is in the place of the stakeholder interview or elicitation that you are going to know what the problem is. Now, in business analysis, there is steps to everything. You cannot jump one phase to the other. I cannot go over to problem analysis without finding out what the root cause is, without doing the stakeholder elicitation, which is going to help me to understand what the pain point is. So that's like the first step, understanding or trying to get the pain point. Okay, which you can only do that when you do your stakeholder interview or when you do your elicitation. So this first step is very, very important to every business analyst. If you miss this step, then you have missed it all, right? Because the information that you're supposed to get that would have helped you to solve the business, okay, you will miss it. So to every business analyst in the house, this is something you should not miss at any point, okay, where you are tackling a business problem. Ensure that you do elicitation. And most of the times, elicitation is what takes the longer time, because for you to understand a particular process, for you to understand a particular pain point, you need to do elicitation, right? Talking to these guys, you go back and forth, okay? And then it's not just about talking to them and, doing the interview. You have to document. So every business analyst, documentation is going to be your closest pal, because at every step, you need to jot things down, because you are going to also be reporting to persons, okay? You're going to be reporting to the business owners. They need to understand what you are saying in clear terms. Okay, so it's not just you, going over and doing an interview and then there's no documentation. So proper documentation is 100% important as well. All this starts from where? Stakeholder interview and elicitation. Very, very important. Okay, so now after you've done this elicitation, you now understand that, okay, this is where the issue is. That's where you move down to problem analysis. So you've spoken to these persons, and then the next thing now is for you to analyze the information you have gotten. Now, in the era of today, okay, in the world we are now, every business analyst should have a touch of data analyst in them. Whether you like it or yes, at this point, you don't even have a choice, right? Because when you gather this information, you need to analyze it. All right, so you've made several phone calls, you've spoken to a lot of persons, they've given you a lot of information. For you to make sense out of it, you need to do analysis, right? So you need to put it either in Power BI, whether you want to use Excel to analyze this data, but you definitely need to, so that you make sense out of this raw information that you have gotten. Okay, so not to divert, we one of our interns, signed in for the business analysis program, and while we were conversing, he mentioned that he actually got a job as a business analyst, but in 2 months he lost it just because he did not have data analysis skills, right? So he actually, I don't know, he was sad, right? Because probably where he learned it from, he did not do data analysis. All right, this is to show you how important it is, because with your data analysis skills, you can pick up whatever info that the company has provided with you, and then you do the problem analysis. From there, you understand, okay, this is where this company is. Okay, so your problem analysis as well as current state analysis. So if you don't even know how to analyze the data, now you have one problem. That's where your first problem comes in. So it's important that you know how to analyze, right? So when you analyze the data or whatever info you've been given, that is where you will have a quick understanding of the current state, right? And then in business analysis, there's something we call the as-is. So there's an as-is map, there's an as-is process where you're trying to understand where is the company currently, right? So for you to know that, you need to do a little bit of analysis, right? So now for the problem we mentioned, right, after they've done the current state analysis, they discovered where the pain point was, right? And then the perfect solution, okay, for them. And now, after they've given the solution, remember now, the solution was not just from the top of their head. It was after they've done the analysis. Okay, and then you are now going to tell them, okay, based on what I've discovered, we should do X, Y, Z. Now, they are going to believe you. They're going to work with, what you're recommending, because they have seen that, oh, you've gone to, would I say, the root cause. Okay, you've gone to the root cause. So for you to be able to give to give solutions or to recommend a particular solution, that means you have understood what the problem is. Okay, so now they've done the solution recommendation. Like I said earlier, it does not stop there. What do? You now have to work closely with the developers, where you're now developing what's it called now, requirement document, and then you are collaborating with these guys. So you now understand this is where the problem is. Like I said earlier, documentation is very important. So for the technical team to understand what you want or what the business wants, you have to document it in clear terms. Okay, so you have to document in clear terms so that they understand, what you actually want them to do. And the next thing they'll do, implement it, and voila, the business problem is going to be solved. And then the website issue that they had, the slow in payment, is just going to be solved, and everything will go back to normal. So at that particular point, I will confidently say that the business analyst has actually saved the day. Would you agree with me on that? If you agree with me on that, just let me see a thumbs up. So would you agree with me that the business analyst at that point has totally saved the day for that particular business? So let's say they did not have a business analyst. The issue would have been, it would have been worse. It would have been bad, because everybody's just going to be like that. So if you're a business analyst, I want you to actually, applaud yourself right now. It's not easy to actually be a business analyst, to actually be a change catalyst, right? Is not actually easy. So applause to all business analysts on the call. Okay, so now let's briefly look at, what a business analyst actually does in a different term now. Okay, so they identify business opportunities. Okay, so you are going to identify business opportunities. So for you to understand, or for you to develop or to identify a business opportunity, you obviously have to do what we call the whole what's it called now, research. Okay, the whole analysis, and then you have to understand where the current state is. Okay, so for you to identify business opportunities, so you do not only just come in, when there is a problem, when the company has identified, okay, there's a problem here. Okay, when it's already alarming that the users are already shouting here and there, you're having a lot of issues. No, a business analyst can actually look at a particular process and then see that there might be a problem in the nearest future, and then they work towards it. So you being able to identify business opportunities and then implement it is what also makes you a business analyst, where you pick up a particular process. So let me take, for instance, you pick up the HR process, for instance, and then you're going through their onboarding process, and then you're seeing that everything is done manually. Can it be better? Obviously, yes, it can. Okay, so it's now in your place to now look at it and then do your research. Every business analyst is a researcher, whether you like it or not. You are going to research, because you always want to look for the newest things to bring into the company, something new, something innovative, something that is going to increase the revenue of the business while reducing their costs. So that is something that every business analyst must also have in them. So you being able to identify business opportunities is key as well as a business analyst. So now, based off on the illustration of identifying the issue in the HR process, so you've discovered that their onboarding process is, I would say, is a cake, right? Because they're all doing things manually. Okay, so now what are you going to do? You're going to come up with new recommendation. Okay, so I've seen that you guys are doing things in a manual way. Why don't you switch it up a bit? Let's automate the process. Okay, so can we automate the process? Obviously, we can. You work hand in hand with the HR, come up with something amazing, and then they implement it with the technical team. And at that point, you have saved the day again as a business analyst. Okay, so you identify business opportunities, then you are actually communicating with stakeholders to align. So just as I said earlier, you're not just working alone, right? You're going to work with the HR team. Just, if you want to revamp or you want to optimize their process, you work with the key stakeholders there to ensure that that is done. So you are going to be in communications with stakeholders every now and then. Okay, another thing that you're going to be conducting visibility study and competitor analysis. So for you to be able to identify new business opportunities, you obviously need to do what we call visibility study and competitor analysis. So you want to ensure that the company you're working for is at the top of the game. Okay, so you always have to, research on new things. So let's say we are coming up with a new idea. Is it going to be possible? Okay, or let's take, for instance, the company wants to open a new branch in a different location. It's in your place to go over and do a research on that particular new location. So is it visible? Can we actually, start this business here? So let's take, for instance, the company wants to open a new branch of, should I say, restaurant in a different company or in a different location rather. And then this is actually maybe a Chinese restaurant. And then you want to come and open a Chinese restaurant in, let's say, in Lagos, Nigeria. First, you have to understand, you have to come down as a business analyst and do your own visibility studies. If we bring this company here in this particular location, is it going to thrive? Will we have persons patronizing us? What are the challenges that we are going to face? Okay, so all this is part of that. So you being able to come up with, the risk analysis is your work as a business analyst. Okay, before you can now, tell your company, okay, you have done XYZ, you document everything and then give it over to them. It's now in their place to review it again and then have a second thought if they should implement it or not. Obviously, with you still in that picture. Another thing is to carry out business requirements gathering. So obviously, as a business analyst, you need to talk to your stakeholders to gather requirement. What do you want? Okay, so what do you want us to do? How do you want this to be implemented? Okay, they give you their suggestions and you're like, okay, based on my profession, this is how I think this should be done. It's going to be better this way, it's going to be better that way. Okay, so you being able to gather those requirements is what makes you a business analyst as well. There's sometimes that stakeholders, their thoughts are all over the place. You don't exactly know what they want at a time. They're just going to be giving you suggestions here and there. It's in your place to document it, right? And then look at it again and come up with your own recommendation. So based off this, I think we should do this. Based off this, we should do this. And then you document every process. Now, I have been emphasizing on documenting because it is the key. It is very important. So let's say you had a conversation with the stakeholders. You've done your communications and you did not document. Okay, or you did some part and you left out some parts. You just went out and maybe you spoke with the technical team and then they developed something. During testing phase, you bring in the stakeholder and then they're like, this is not what I wanted. If you did not document, you're not going to have an evidence to show that, okay, this is actually what you said and we documented it and we signed it. Okay, so it is important that, documentation has to be your key, has to be your closest friend at every point in your business analysis journey. Another thing they do is process modeling and gap analysis. Okay, so process modeling and gap analysis, so they are going to understand, okay, what is the process, what is the current state, what is the as is, what is the to be. Okay, so all this you're not just going to document it, okay, in your Word document. You also need to visualize it. Okay, so every business analyst has their tools they use, okay, in terms of visualizing this particular roadmaps. I'll call it roadmaps, right? Because you're going to be moving, okay, this is where we are currently. From here, we are heading here. From here, this is it. Okay, so at that point, your as is, okay, it's going to come in a map. So we look at it as a stakeholder, understand, okay, this is it from here, this is it. So it makes your communication easier. Apart from that, there's something we call to be. So you're going to come up with a to be process, which is, okay, this is where we are looking at, being after we implement this or in the implementation phase. So let's say we want to come up with, let me say, an application that can actually help the HR automate the whole onboarding phase. So you are going to first visualize it in your map so that we have a picture of what we want, where we want to actually be. So each of the processes from one step to the other, you are going to be visualizing it so that we look at it and know, okay, from this point, okay, if it is a yes, this is where we are headed. If it's a no, this is where we are headed. We need to go back to the process and start all over again. Okay, so it is important that you understand as a business analyst, you are going to be doing what we call process modeling and gap analysis. Okay, so if you're still with me, please let me see a thumbs up. Let me know I have not lost you. Okay, so if you've understood these key things that a business analyst must and should actually do, okay, let me see a thumbs up. All right, thank you very much for those that have reacted. Now let us go on. Sorry, just give me a minute. Okay, so now, what are the key tools? What are the key tools that a business analyst should use or should have, an idea about? Okay, so Power BI, okay, so like I mentioned earlier, right, in the time of in this particular region or in this particular tech space, it is important that you have Power BI as a skill, even if it's very little. You just being able to connect your data to Power BI and then come up with one or two charts that can help you explain or that can help you visualize some certain things so you understand the data. It is very, very important. I think I've shared a story already about our intern that lost a job because he wasn't able to use Power BI, to use Excel and do analysis for the company. He lost it. But he was a core business analyst. He knew how to use draw.io. He knew how to use his lucid chart. Okay, he was good on that. Documentation process, everything is top notch. But because he wasn't able to visualize data, to analyze data using Power BI, he lost the job. So Power BI is added now to business analysis too because it is important. There are some companies that instead of them just hiring a business analyst, we have a new role that we call business data analyst. So you are not just a business analyst, but you also have a sort of data analysis in you. All right. So another is the draw.io. So you can either use draw.io or the lucid chart where it helps you visualize your maps. Okay, the to-be chart I mentioned about earlier on, as well as the as is, right? So you can use either of these to visualize that chart. Another is your PowerPoint. It's important you know how to use your slides very well because when you're communicating with stakeholders, it's important that you have something you're showing on your screen. It's not just sharing what you have in your Word document. Okay, so it's important you're able to present to these guys and they understand everything you're saying. Same thing with Excel. You should be able to understand how to use Excel, either to do visualizations, or to manage records. Either of that, it is important that you know all those things. Okay, so now I want to believe that from our survey earlier, I all have business analysts in the house. Okay, so one thing now is for you to have these skills. Okay, so there are a lot of persons that yes, they have the skills, but there is a problem somewhere. There is something missing somewhere, right? Which is okay, I have the skill. I'm trying to get a job. I am a business analyst. Edidiong, I know everything you have mentioned, right? But there's something still missing. I don't know why I cannot get a job. Okay, I have tried, I am applying, and I keep getting, unfortunately, right? So there is something actually missing. You and I know that there is something missing, right? Because recruiters are not just looking for, persons that say, okay, I have the skill. Do you have the experience? You are a business analyst, yes. You have told me you're a business analyst. You can do X, Y, Z. You know how to do the elicitation, but how sure am I that you know how to do these things? It's easier said than done, right? Okay, so recruiters are looking for experience, and you are there. You're there thinking, okay, so what am I supposed to do? I just finished my training. I have done this thing, but I don't know how to, get the experience because these guys are looking for experience. Okay, so work experience is actually the new goal. Okay, so you will agree with me that there is no job you're going to see on any of the job platforms, either LinkedIn, or remote work, that you're not going to see them looking for an experience. They will always look for they're nothing like entry levels anymore. You will agree with me that even entry level jobs now, they're writing their own entry level. They are requesting for at least 1 year, 2 years of experience, industry experience to be precise, right? So from this chart that you're looking at here, right? So we actually carried out a research, right? And we discovered that entry level roles, they're looking for experiences. And these persons that carried out this research, told us the reasons why they were not hired because of inexperience. And the one that was stopping the chart is lack of required years of experience. So like I said earlier, entry levels, yes, but they're still requesting for at least 1 or 2 years. Okay, so if you look at this, our chart, the highest percentage, right? Highest percentage is at least 1 year with 36%, at least 1 year. So no matter how fresh you are, no matter how, would I say, entry level that role is, you need at least 1 year of experience. Okay, so it is important that you get this experience, right? Now the question is, how are you even supposed to get this experience? I know that is what a lot of persons are already saying in their mind. Okay, so I know there was a time where we just finished school newly, and then some persons started applying for jobs, and they were getting unfortunately, because they were like, oh, you do not have the experience, you are a fresher. And people came out and were like, so if nobody's hiring freshers, how do you now want us to get this experience? Where are we supposed to get this experience? Where are we now supposed to, come up with the one, at least 1 year experience, if nobody wants to hire us? So Amdari actually sat down and understood that, okay, this is the pain point. This is where the business analysis comes in, right? Where you understand where the pain point is, and then you are coming up with solutions to that particular pain point. So Amdari had looked at it and like, there are a lot of persons that are doing training. There are a lot of persons that are getting the skills. But how are they supposed to get this experience to actually, get this their dream job in tech, right? So they thought of it, and we came up with this particular program we call REF. All right, so Remote Apprenticeship Virtual Experience Program. So I will just ignore this. So just so that you are not cutting your tongue, right? Let's just stick to REF. So what actually bettered REF? The whole idea of not getting experience, you going out to apply for a job, and you're getting, unfortunately, because you do not have the required experience that they are looking for. So that is what actually bettered REF in Amdari, and this is the only platform that guarantees you work experience, real work experience, right? So you might be wondering, how is this actually done? Okay, so the thing is, your technical skills and your experience. Now note, you have the technical skill, right? You have the experience, but there's still something missing. Okay, so REF actually combines this to ensure that you have the dream job you are actually looking for. So your technical skills as well as your experience is going to bet your job offer. Okay, so and Amdari is actually full package. Okay, so when I say full package, okay, so you have the technical skill, and that will gives you the experience, not just the experience, right? It moves over to giving you the employability skills, because yes, there are persons that have this experience, but they don't even know how to, they don't know how to tailor it into the job role. They don't know how to bring it into the job they're applying for. That is why they keep getting, unfortunately. Not because they don't have the technical skill, or not because they don't have the experience. There's some persons that are like, oh, I have 1 year experience, I have 2 years experience, okay, in social and so field. Okay, but I don't have experience in this, let's say I have experience in banking and finance, but I don't have experience in business analysis. So what Amdari does is now to help you bring that experience that you had in banking and finance, and now show you how you can tailor it into your business analysis field, and then you get your job. So that is the employability skill that we are talking about, and that is what will give you that job alpha from Amdari. Okay, so if this is very, very interesting to you, which I know it is, I will just want to see a word in the chat while I go on. Okay, so now you might be wondering, so how does Amdari actually do this? Okay, so they're saying, oh, they're going to give us the experience, and then they're still going to add an employability skill to it. How is this possible? Don't worry, I am going to unfold the magic to you. So what Amdari does is, first, we get unique challenges, unique business problems from our business partners, and then we give it to our interns. So you work in a team. You could be in team 1, team 2, team 3. Okay, it could be individually, but we're going to give you the business problems, and then you are not alone. We ensure that you are assigned a mentor. Yes, we know very well that you have learned the skill, but there are times that because of the long time, skills rot. That's the truth. If you abandon it for a long time, you might forget some things, or maybe the business challenge is a bit strange, is a bit difficult, because you're not used to that particular tool that you are being assigned to do. We have a mentor to actually guide you through to this particular business problem. And after that, you are going to be doing a presentation, okay, and then we evaluate whatever you've done, and then give recommendations based off that. So apart from you having the technical skills, soft skill also matters. How are you able to present? How are you able to, tell the stakeholders what you were able to come up with? So it is important you actually do this presentation. And after that, you add this to your portfolio. You're adding this to your portfolio, and you can also share it to your LinkedIn. Okay, so you can add this to your CVs that you've worked with us, and then you have what we call a work reference on demand. So let's say you have actually finished, you've gotten the experience, then the employability skill top notch, we've revamped a lot of things, we've done a little bit of rebranding, and you have gotten the job. And let's say the company asks for a reference, you can come back to Amdari and request for that. Okay, and then if you want to go for an interview, right, we are also here. So you've been called in for an interview, and you don't know what to do, you don't know where to start. We have what we call an interview prep session, where we are simulating the real interview. So we are doing that prep so that it's going to help you, oh, this is what I'm going to be facing. We also help you boost your confidence to ensure that you get the job. So it is ref all the way. We are not leaving you anywhere, right? So we are carrying you from the point where you have the experience, down to you being able to showcase whatever you have done, and then you adding it to your CV. You get the job, or before you get the job, you're called for an interview. We are there to actually have a prep with you, and the next thing, when you get the job, we are still there to give you a work reference when it is needed, right? So Amdari is well packaged, right? The ref program is actually well packaged for you. Okay, so this is actually the slogan we use, right? So rebranding is a combination of your project-based analysis and your employability skills. So it's not just one side. So you do the project, you get the experience from the project. That is one. The second thing is you being able to put yourself out there in front of a recruiter. Okay, so the project you've worked on, okay, the experience you have gathered, are you able to put it in your CV? Okay, so how is your CV? Okay, and then again, there's some persons that they have wonderful experience, but their CV, if you look at their CV, even you, if you're a recruiter, you are not going to call them. And then the way some persons are now, that okay, you just apply for a job and less than how many minutes you're getting, unfortunately. That is because it's actually a system that they use to actually go through your CV. So your CV doesn't even pass the first stage. Okay, so that is where the issue is. It doesn't even pass the first stage, okay, of the whole process of hiring you. So it hasn't even got into the hiring manager's desk. Okay, so from the first stage, you're getting, unfortunately, because it's actually an automated system that just looks at your CV. If it does not have anything that they require, okay, there's some keywords that are supposed to be there, it is not there. What do? They just throw you, unfortunately. Okay, so you have the skill, but you are lacking employability skills. So that is what ref does. So it's going to rebrand you with the project skills as well as employability skills. Okay, so for the project-based aspect, so how do we do this? So you're going to be getting real industry-based projects. You're going to be getting multiple industry experiences. So whatever you're doing, it is not just on a particular industry. Okay, we try as much as we can to ensure that we are getting business problems, okay, from different partners, okay, across different industries. So we are not just sticking to one particular industry. So we can have from healthcare, from e-commerce, logistics, supply chain, okay, and other industries. And then you're going to be having multiple technology experiences. So you are not using just one tool. So let's take, for instance, as a business analyst, you're not just going to be, looking at just using draw.io. Okay, so you are going to be exploring other things. And then you are not just stopping at doing the business analysis project. You are going to be exploring the data analysis project as well, where we're working through how you can actually do a project on Power BI. I can do a project on Excel, and other data analysis technologies. So it's not just based on one, it's a multiple technology experience. And then again, we are going to increase your confidence for future roles. So remember the interview prep I mentioned about, where we are simulating. So at that point, we are going to be boosting your confidence, because now let's say you have the first interview prep with us. you've come in, we've talked to you, oh, these are the possible things, this is what I'm supposed to be answering when I'm asked a particular question, right? Your confidence is going to be very high, because at this point, you know very well that, oh, plus or minus, I am 80%, 90% ready for this interview. Okay, so where you have a low confidence level is when you are not prepared. That is the truth about it. So when you are prepared, your confidence level will definitely be high. Another is you're going to be working with cross-functional team. Okay, you have multiple role experiences, teamwork and project collaboration, and networking opportunities. So now you're going to be working with a diverse person. So you're going to be connecting with these persons, and you're going to be building your network along the line. Okay, so for the employability side of things, you're going to be having a one-on-one CV revamp / review. Okay, so this one is not where we're just having a full-blown session and then we're telling you, oh, do this, do that, do that. No, it is a one-on-one session where you're going to be talking with our employability partners, and then they're looking at your CV, telling you, okay, this is what you're supposed to be doing here. This is what you're supposed to be doing in this place in your CV. Oh, this is not supposed to be there. Okay, so that one-on-one CV revamp session is going to help you work on your CV, and then your CV becomes top notch, that when you're applying for a job with it, you are going to at least get an interview. Okay, so another thing there is the one-on-one LinkedIn optimization session. Now, there are some person's LinkedIn profile that is appalling, right? Because you're not using the right keywords. The pictures you are using is not really presentable. Okay, so but when we are having this one-on-one LinkedIn optimization session, you're going to revamp your LinkedIn in such a way that if somebody types on LinkedIn and searches for a business analysis or business analyst, at least your profile is going to come up at least first 5, first 10, depending on how good you have worked on your LinkedIn, right? So you're going to have this session, and then you're going to be having a one-on-one mentorship session, career coaching, where when you're given a project, okay, remember we said we're going to attaching you to a mentor. So you're going to be having that one-on-one feel as well with your mentor, where okay, you're having challenges, okay, in a particular project, you are having 1 or 2 issues. The mentor is always there, okay, to at least look at what you have done and then help you out wherever the issue is. Another is the interview preparation. I've spoken about that already. And then the job reference. And then the last thing there is on the job support. So you have gotten the job, and then maybe in the first few weeks, first few months, you need help on the job. You can actually reach out to us, and we are going to help you on that. So like I said earlier, we've got you covered all the way from getting the experience to landing the job, and even what you are supposed to be doing, okay, in that job. Now, so this is like a sample project of what our business and analyst consultant has actually worked on. Okay, so this is actually an amazing project that the business analysis as well as the project managers worked on in collaboration with the technical team. Okay, so this is actually an AI powered platform where they're building it for our client company HireSense, where they want to automate every process. Now remember I talked about a particular onboarding process where you want to optimize it. For this other one, this particular platform is for both job seekers and hirers. Okay, so you want to hire persons, and then you are a job seeker. So this platform is actually for you. So this is what our consultant has actually worked on. Okay, this is going to be on live by the end of next week. March end of next week. This is going to go live, and then you're going to see it. And these interns or this consultant career, we call them consultants. So if you're an intern with us, you are not just an intern, but you are a consultant. So these consultants can actually showcase this in their LinkedIn, showcase it, in their portfolio, that okay, I worked with a team that actually developed this amazing project or this amazing website. All right, so this is just one of it from the other ones that they have been working on. All right, so now that is coming up on the 10th of May. Okay, so if you actually want to get all these experiences I've listed earlier on, okay, I will urge you to jump on this particular offer, okay, that is starting on the 10th. All right, so this is our price tag. Okay, so it is just for the first 20 people. So there's a discount that is running but it's limited. Okay, just 10%, 20%. So immediately we get the 20%, we are going to go back to our full price. So for a business analysis, so you're having full price at 500 pounds, and you're having a discount, right? So I will urge you, okay, to jump on the discount, right? So we have a program for 3 months, and then we have a program for 6 months. So if you want to jump on the 6 months, this is the full price, right? And then this is a discounted price. So for you to save about, this is about 150, right? So for you to save about 150 pounds, then you need to actually jump on this offer. So what does this offer actually have for you? What's the full package like? So you're having a one-on-one CV review and revamp. Okay, you're having a one-on-one LinkedIn optimization session. You're going to access an exclusive remote job board, an online portfolio builder, and then you're going to have a work reference. You're going to also access all employability sessions and a career coaching session. So now let me just quickly show us what our platform actually looks like. So when you are signing in, so everything I've mentioned here, right? Let me just quickly share what we have here. Okay, so let me just ensure I am sharing the right screen. Just give me a minute. Let me share this particular tab. Okay, so this is what our platform actually looks like when you sign in. Okay, so when you purchase our when you sign up for our program, so you have access to this Amdari website, right? So this is like your dashboard. So everyone has an individual dashboard assigned to them. So this is mine. So hi, Edidiong with your work come back. So in your dashboard, you're going to see the number of projects you've worked on, completed, right? And then, so let me just quickly show us the portfolio I mentioned about. So you're going to have, a live portfolio you can showcase. So every student, you just come to the portfolio and then put in all the information that you need, that is required of you, and you're going to be having a live portfolio created for you automatically that you can always use to showcase it to recruiters, and then they can actually come there and see what you've worked on, have it that they'll have that personal information about you in just one glance. Okay, so another there is the job board. So this is the job board I talked about. Remember I mentioned you're going to have access to a job board. So every day this is updated. Every day this is actually updated. So you see the job openings, okay, across different companies, and you can click on it and apply, right? So this is like, I would say icing on the cake, okay, because we are not just giving you experience, but we also help you to get that dream job, right? So you can always come here and then click on it, have access to this. So everyone that is on Amdari ref program has access to the job board. And then we did not just stop there. So we have a learn page because we know that some skills that can be a bit rusted. Maybe you learned it some months ago, you've forgotten some things, or maybe there was a task that was given to you and maybe you've forgotten some things. You can always come to the learn page. So this learn page has a crash course. Okay, so a crash course, because you are not having a full-blown, when I say lecture, we are not training, right? So this is just to help you, should I say, bring your memories back to some certain skills. Let's say you've forgotten how to use Excel or Power BI, right? You can just quickly come here, have a glance of it, and then your memory is refreshed on that particular thing. Okay, so we do not train, right? But we help you get the experience through projects, and then you can actually learn right on the job. Okay, so there are times that you get a job. Let's say I'm a business analyst, and then I don't know how to use Power BI. And I've gotten a job, and if it is required 100%, I will go out of my way to ensure that I get the basic skills I need for for Power BI, right? At that point, I can just pick up a crash course and then revamp my brain about a particular thing, right? So that is what this learn page is actually for persons that, okay, I've forgotten one or two things, right? Oh, I want to actually learn a particular skill. So let's say I know how to use Power BI. I know how to use Excel, but I'm not really familiar with Tableau. I can always come here and then click on the course and revamp my brain a bit on, okay, this is what Tableau is. Then while working on the project, I can learn Tableau. So there's something we call, yeah, you learn right in the job. So this is it. But when we say, oh, you want to learn from scratch, we do not do that here in Amdari, right? But we can actually give you projects to help you, learn about a particular thing. Okay, so that being said, let me quickly show us a sample of what our interns have actually worked on from the classroom. Okay, but before I do that, let me just quickly walk us through the payment link. So if you see on the chat, my colleague has actually dropped the payment link right on the chat. So let me just stop sharing this. So I just want to quickly walk us through so you understand, you understand how you can actually do that. So mainly you click on the link that is showing in the chat. Just give me a minute. So this is where it's going to take you to. All right, so you click on the link that is on the chat that my colleague has dropped. This is what is going to actually show you. So Rev Internship Enrollment Center. So you just scroll down and select the particular program and the duration. So let's say you are actually signing up for business analysis and you are going for the 6 months program. So you just click on secure your internship. All right, and then it's going to be showing you this particular tab. So based off your location, okay, that is the currency that is going to be showing. Okay, so depending on your location, that is what is going to be showing. So if you're in Nigeria, your currency is going to be in Nigerian currency, right? So for those ones that are in France, I think I saw somebody saying she's in France, so it's going to be in your currency. All right, so if you are in Canada, it's going to be in your own currency. So all you have to do is scroll down. So the beautiful thing about Amdari is that we have installmental payments. Okay, so if you're going for a 6 months program, you have 5 installmental payments, so you can pay in 5 months. But if you are going for the 3 months, that means you are going to be paying it in 2 installments, right? So you make your initial payment, which is to secure your internship spot. Remember I said we have a 20% discount going. So for you to secure your spot, you can just click. So let's say you want to do one-time payment, you want to pay everything at once because you don't want to be going back and forth paying every month. You can do that. If you want to do 2 months installment, you just click on it and then you select secure internship. All right, so depending on the installmental plan that you are going for, you select it and click on secure payment, and then it's going to process your payment in our main tab. Okay, so now after you're done with that, maybe you're done with the payment, screenshot the proof, and then you're going to come back to the initial tab, okay, where you started off from, and you're going to select payment registration form, right? You need to select this and then click so that we have your information right from our end, and then you just quickly fill the form. So let me just share this as well. So you just quickly fill the form, right? You just put in your details and you click on next and then complete the form and you submit. Okay, that is straight to the point and as easy as it can be. All right, so let me also show us a bit of what our classroom looks like. Okay, so you see, how these things are done in the classroom. So it's either, would I say, seeing is believing, right? So let me use that term. Okay, so I'm pulling up my classroom now. Okay, so this is the classroom where our February cohort, this is for the business analysis February cohort, right? So this is the project they're working on. So Mayfair, so they're working on the project for Mayfair. So this is where they actually submitted, their business requirement document. So let me just scroll down to the project file itself. So this is the project file, okay, where we share this with the intern. So this is the project briefing file. All right, let that come up. I need to open it in Word documents. Let me see. I'm praying you can still see my screen. Okay. All right. So this is like the project briefing, right? Document that was shared to the intern, right? So they're actually working on an amazing platform for the HR of this particular company, right? Where they are building what's it called, an application to actually help the workforce management as well as the customer purchase. So it's an e-commerce site where they want to actually understand, okay, why are what are our customers actually saying regarding a particular product, where they are reviewing they're reviewing their comments and all that, just so that it helps the company, right, to make decisions. And then again, they also want to understand how the workforce is going. So how is the customer success team working, or customer support team? Are they actually in support with are they actually available rather for our customers? So if they're having challenges, are these guys always available? Okay, then also why our workers leaving? So that platform is actually a full-blown e-commerce platform, which what they work on is actually an MVP, right? Where it's just to launch the first version, okay, and then I think it should be live by ending of May or so, right? So this is what our February guys actually worked on. So let me quickly show us what our March cohort are actually working on. Now, remember I mentioned that you need you need data analysis skill as a business analyst. Okay, so we are starting with that for our business analyst. Okay, so we know very well you need it. It is very important. So their first project was actually on a business analysis or data analysis project rather, right? So let me see if I can share this. Just give that a minute. So this is the project they're working on: optimizing user engagement through behavior analytics. So they're actually analyzing this project using Power BI. A lot of them were like, oh, I don't know how to use Power BI. But they actually did the project and they came up with amazing things, because they are not alone. We have mentors, right, to actually guide them, because we understand that as a business analyst, it is important that you have the data analysis skills, even if it's 1%, even if it's 2%, right? Remember I told you about one of my interns, that this person is actually in this March cohort, right? So he shared that with me, and he was like, he lost that job because he did not have the skill of a data analyst. And they opened up to him. Funny enough, they told him he worked with them for 2 months and the salary was mind-blowing. So even till today, he was like, he regretted why he did not actually start up his career with I'm learning business data analysis. And then even when he had the opportunity to do something on that, he just felt, oh, he's a business analyst, he does not need that. But he discovered in the role, 2 months into the role, he was like, oh, we need you to analyze this particular data for us and then bring up 1 or 2. And he was like, oh, he does not know how to use it. That is how we lost the job. Okay, job that was paying a huge amount of money, actually in the UK, right? So it is important, right? That is why we inculcated this for our business analysts to actually start with. Okay, so back to my screen. So please, guys, I will actually want you to lock up your spot. Okay, so join our next cohort that is actually starting on the 10th of May, to also jump into this amazing offer that we are giving. So like I said earlier, you have a one-on-one CV session. Okay, you have a LinkedIn optimization session. You're also going to be accessing the job board. I've actually showed us that. Okay, and another thing there is the online portfolio builder, which I have showed us that already on our site. Okay, then we have a reference later. So this is on request. So if the company needs it, you reach out to us and you have access to that. Another is access to all employability sessions. So all that is also in the classroom, right? And then your career coaching sessions. Okay, so for you to enjoy all this, imagine all this offer, okay, for this particular amount, right? This is actually us, giving out back to the communities, right? So it is important that, okay, you lock your discount, right? Either you want to do first installment, or you want to do in 6 months, or rather 5 months installments. You want to do 3 months, you want to do 4 months. Okay, so all you have to do is lock your spot. Okay, so you click on the link that is on the chat. Okay, just click on the link on the chat, and it's going to take you to the payments platform. All you have to do is select the course and the duration you are going for, right? And then you are good to go. Okay, so let me just quickly show us testimonial about our consultants, right, that have actually they're actually in the program with us. Okay, so this is Emilia. Emilia says, so far so good. The internship has been a great experience. We have a fantastic team lead. I absolutely enjoy our stand-up meetings, having people to relate with, and the program is above my expectations. So this is Amelia, okay, giving us her own, feedback based off how the program has been for her. Remember, I've already mentioned this, okay, in the previous slides about the full package we are coming with. So you have mentors, okay, talking to, and we do this in our standard meetings where, okay, you come up, you're talking with your mentor, okay, and then you have your colleagues. So you're building a community as well, okay, where you're interacting with and you are sharing ideas. So this is from Emilia. So let's hear from Nimat. Nimat says, it's been an amazing experience. The internship team lead has been very helpful, always checking up on our process, working on the project, tasks, and the fact that the internship structure is perfect. Now, this is you hearing from your horse's mouth, right? So this is another person, Z. Z says, the internship has been good so far. It is very informative, and I feel challenged. I am being exposed to new aspects of tools I have used before. So one thing is for you to use a particular a tool before, right? So let's say for Excel, there's some persons that don't know that you can build an amazing dashboard in Excel. You just know Excel for, okay, it's just a spreadsheet, right? I can just look at it and record one or two informations, nothing more, right? But in Excel, you can actually build a fantastic dashboard. Okay, so this is from Z saying he has been able to be he has been exposed to new aspects of the tools, right? Another person here is saying this internship has been an eye-opener, right? This is interesting. Okay, it has been an eye-opener. The community and the experience has impacted my growth. Okay, so this is all from our consultants currently going on the internship, right? Because they have seen that, okay, I am getting value for my money. So it is important, for you to pay for a thing. Another is for you to get value, and that is what Amdari is here for, getting value for your payments. Okay, so this is a sample of the reference letter that we actually offer. So we have actually given this, so it is talk and do. We're not just saying what we are not doing, right? So this is something that we are doing. So this person actually requested for a reference letter. This is a Busayo. So you requested for a reference letter, and this was actually given. See the reference letter in attachment here. Okay, so it is a full package. Okay, we actually say what we actually do what we say, and then we ensure that we satisfy our consultant. You are here for experience, and experience you will get. Not just experience, we are here to rebrand you and ensure that you get not just technical skills, right, but you get soft skills, and then again, you get employability skills so that you can learn that amazing job. Okay, so now this is where we are going to be, rounding up for today. But please and please and please, before we round up, ensure that you have actually filled the attendance form from the chat that my colleague has been dropping. And then for your payment, remember, I said we are actually running this discount for just the first 20%. So immediately the first 20%, elapses, we are going back to the original price. So ensure that you lock down your discount. So even if you want to do the first installment, initial payment, just to lock down, your discount, and then you continue payment later. Okay, know that for the 3 months program, okay, you have 2 months installments, right? And then for the 6 months program, you have 5 months installment. So we've tried to make it should I say accommodative for everyone, because we know how important it is for you to get this experience. Okay, so I don't know if we have any questions, right? Do we have any questions? If you have any questions, you can use the raise hand icon, and we're going to ask you to unmute yourself, and then we take the questions. Do we have questions? Do we have questions? Do we have questions? Okay, so if you know, okay, so we have Raphael. All right, Raphael, let's hear you out. Can I unmute yourself and let's hear you? Hello, Raphael, are you there? Raphael, I don't know if you're speaking, but you are muted and we cannot hear you. Or would you want to drop a message on the chat? Okay, so you can try unmuting your mic again. Let me see.
Okay, thank you very much. I've been able to unmute myself. Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity to come here. Um, my point basically is not about a question per se, but it will come in that form in a way though. Yeah, I just wanted to say that I've already signed up for the program. Yeah, I've already signed up for the program. I think a few days ago. I think about in less than a week I've been able to sign up already. Yeah, so I just needed some clarification. Like you were explaining, and the main part of it is not training, and it is about gaining the experience, the practical exposure, and all that. Which, for me personally, really stood out for me because that's what I'm looking for. I'm in the UK currently. I'm in Sheffield, so I really need that experience. I've been I've been trained in a way, and although still open to training, more training and all that. So I need that experience. My point is first and foremost, um in terms of the portfolio side, I wanted to ask if at the start of the training, if we can be permitted to already put projects on the portfolio, while not that we wait till the end of the internship before we can put project. Can we at the start of the internship optimize our portfolio and keep it running while the internship is on? Just wanted to clarify that.
Okay, thank you very much for your question, Raphael. So, yes, immediately you're done with your first project, you can absolutely put it up on your portfolio. So we do not wait, 3 months, 6 months is a long time, right? So we advise, our consultants to, you build up your portfolio immediately you're done with your first two projects or your first project, and then for the LinkedIn optimization, CV optimization. So CV optimization comes in your second month. So you're not even waiting. So after 1 month, right? After your 1 month, because we expect that you've actually synced in, you've started working on projects, you're done with at least one or two projects in your first 1 month, so that you can start showcasing it. So you are not waiting. We don't even have any plan to keep you till you're done with your internship with us before you can showcase. No, you start immediately you have a project at hand to put out there.
Okay, thank you very much for that clarification. So one follow-up question I wanted to go chip in was, what if I've already built some project already? Is it advisable for me to put that on the profile?
I am not sure I got your question. So if you have a profile already, if you can
Like,
also,
no, like if I have built to work on some projects already, can I add that to the profile, to the portfolio?
the one on the website.
Yes.
No, I'm not sure you can. Just give me a minute, let me check something. Okay, so what you can do there is when you're building your portfolio. So I know there is an option where you can put in previous experiences, right? So this is what I've done before. This is what I've worked on before, because it's a place for work experience. So there you can actually include other things you have worked on. what you're building. You're the one creating, I'll say you're the one creating this, life portfolio for yourself. So there is an option where you add
Yeah.
what other work experiences, other things you've worked on. I think this answers the questions that
Okay.
someone just dropped on the chat as well. So let me see. Yes, Ruby, I hope that answers your question. So you can add other work experiences you've done, on the live portfolio site where we have that on Amdari. Okay. So you're the
Okay.
one using your hand to develop it. So you put in all the details that is needed. So at every point it's like about six stages. So all your info, okay, just as is required from your work experience, previous work experience, education levels, stuff you've worked on, you can actually include that on the portfolio.
Okay. Oh, no problem. Thank you very much for that clarification. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much for asking. Okay, so do we have any other question? Ruby, I want to believe I've answered your question. Please just give me a thumbs up if I have answered your question, because I saw that on the chat while addressing Raphael's question. Ruby, are you still here? Can you give a thumbs up if your question has been addressed? All right, fantastic. Okay, so please, guys, we just have 20%, and immediately 20 persons have elapsed. I think it's even less than 20 now, because we've had persons that have started making payments already. So please, just so that you are not going to be left out. Okay, so lock down your spot, and remember we are starting on the 10th of May. So 10th of May, you are going to kickstart your amazing journey with Amdari. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. And so lastly, so I just want us to say something. So I know I might not hear you, right? But you could just say to yourself, so dear me, thank you for listening to Edidiong and starting that internship with Amdari. Sincerely hired you. So just put your hand on your chest, right? And make that declaration. And please, and please, and please, if you're making this declaration, ensure that you've already locked down your spot with Amdari. So if you are yet to do that, just click on the link my colleague has shared on the chat and do the needful. So if you want to actually have a one-on-one session, okay, with us, let's say you're not clarified on a particular thing, you need to ask more questions. Okay, so that is also going to be dropped on the chat. So click on it and then book a spot for that particular session as well. If you're yet to fill the attendance form, please try as much as you can to do that, so this material can be shared to you as well, and our customer team can also use that to reach out to you. For everyone that has listened, thank you so much. I had an amazing time with you all, right? And this is where we are going to be calling it a night. Okay, so thank God it's Friday. Thank you for giving us your time, and see you when next we see. Bye for now.